Hey everyone, it's the first Men's Rights Edmonton video blog. First off, I want to say hello Edmonton, I'm Eric Duckman, the owner of mensrightsedmonton.com. Second, I want to let everyone know that mensrightsedmonton.com is not an organization, it's a website. The .com on the end there kind of gives that much away. I started this website back in March with the sole intention of getting to know other MRAs in or around Edmonton, and in only a few months I've had tremendous success. I've personally met with John the Other and Girl Writes What. As you can tell, I'm actually here in Girl Writes What's kitchen right now, kid you not, and Typhon Blue, as well as a host of other local MRAs who have been at this since the 90s. I've also had articles written about my activism by the CBC, Sun Media, and Metro News. I've also had at least 2 entities form against my activism here in E-Town. The articles about my activism weren't so much about my website as they were about how I had vandalized fringe posters as a means of promotion. Putting a sticker on a poster is hardly vandalism, especially when you don't even cover or obscure any of the information on said posters. By contrast, the posters and stickers that I've been putting up for months have been systematically torn down and or covered up by black marker long before I hit any fringe posters with stickers. Photographic evidence of the actual defacement of my posters has been publicized in an article on avoiceformen.com, which I'll be linking to in the low bar. What I'll also be linking to in the low bar, aside from the hit pieces written about my efforts, is the email addresses of the people who wrote them, namely CBC's Jenny Russell and Metro's Lori Colson. Funny anecdote about Jenny Russell. She sent me an email asking me why I'd put stickers on the posters, calling it vandalism. I asked her where the news media was when my own posters were getting really in for true defaced, and included a link to the AVFM article that includes a picture of said defacement. In her reply, she said, "If and when your posters are vandalized, whether that means them being torn, written on, or plastered with stickers, feel free to let me know." So, I send her evidence of my posters being torn up, and she acts like I have yet to do so. It's kind of like holding a door open for someone and telling them to get out, and they go, "Well, I'll only get out once you hold the door open for me." She's fraudulently calling my stickering vandalism while intentionally ignoring the actual defacement of my posters, all the while pretending that that's not what she's doing. Hey, Jenny, as long as you're doing stories on vandalized posters, why don't you take the entire A Voice for Men article that I sent you and have it published under your own name? You'd be showing about as much journalistic integrity as you already have. I think we all deserve an apology from these hacks, and if you agree, send them an email. Now, onto the entities, or rather non-entities, seeing as they don't do fuck all, that have formed as a response to my activism here in town. Namely, A Voice for Reasonable People, and the Edmonton Men's Circle, with their website, anothervoiceformen.com. The reasonable people actually are quite reasonable, just not the kind of reasonable where you form a counter-argument against whatever it is you're opposing, more like the kind of reasonable where you just self-identify as reasonable and expect to be taken at your word. You know, that kind of reasonable. You know what I'd really like to see? I'd like to see one of these fuckwits put one single piece of counter-rhetoric on their sites, criticizing anything at all, about the actual content on either my website or on AVFM. Anyway, I've taken up enough of your time. Next time, I'll have a bunch of footage of myself and Girl Writes What at this year's Walk a Mile in Her Shoes event, and some videos of some postering I've done with my fellow local activists. Right? Have a good one.
Actually, this isn't my kitchen. He created this, a replica. Every little thing. Even the bottle of Roundup haphazardly stored right next to the kitchen sink and the coffee pot. And the chocolatey, child-sized handprints on the fridge. Help! Help! Call the police! Anyhow,